Hey everybody, JP here with RB Talk with JP. Today I want to touch on a hot button topic in today's industry, and that is lithium batteries. Every day I'm hearing people come in and ask for our opinion on what batteries they should choose for their RV, and there's lots of positives that come with lithium batteries, but I want to talk about both the pros and the cons and let you make an informed decision. I do want to preface this by saying that I am not a battery expert by any means, and of course you should do your own research, but I'm going to highlight a few things that I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years that have really helped educate me in the world of lithium batteries. So let's go talk about it. All right, let's touch on the pros of lithium batteries first. The first one is going to be the lifespan of the battery. And this is a huge one because a lot of people, which I'm going to touch on in the cons, they're scared off by the high cost of the batteries. But compared to your lead acid battery, you're getting 10 to 20 years out of a lithium battery. Most advertise 1,000 to 3 or 4,000 life cycles before you start to see that battery life reduce. So in the time that you're going to have replace your lead acid battery 3-4 times, that lithium battery is still going to be good. So the lifespan is definitely the first key factor when considering lithium batteries. All right, and the second pro is going to be the overall usable capacity of the battery. So your typical lead acid battery, when you're discharging it, it's going to cut off and shut down at 50%. And this is in order to save the battery from being damaged. Your lithium battery, you have the full capacity of that battery. So let's take a 100 amp hour battery to give you an example. So your 100 amp hour battery with the lithium, you're going to be able to go, use that whole 100 amp hours. If you have an equivalent lead acid battery, you're only getting actually 50 amp hours out of that battery before it's going to shut down and save itself. So if you have 200 amp hour lithium batteries, you got that full 200 amp hours. You're going to be able to dry camp for a long period of time, compared to your typical lead acid battery or your 6-volt batteries that you're putting in most RVs. The third pro that I want to touch on is the weight of the battery. So your lithium battery is typically going to be about 50% or so the weight of your typical lead acid battery. So this is going to help you in terms of maneuverability. If you want to take that battery, take it out for the winter and store it somewhere, it's going to be way easier to remove. Also, you're going to be able to save some weight in your RV, which, especially when it comes to, say, truck campers, you might be very worried about the payload capacity of your truck. So, any way that you can save a few pounds is going to make a huge difference. So that would be the third reason I might consider a lithium battery. All right, and the fourth reason you would want to consider the lithium battery would be the fact that they're maintenance free. So your lead acid batteries, you got to take into consideration water levels and electrolyte levels of the battery. When it comes to your lithium batteries, you just set them and forget them. You can put them in there. You never have to check levels. They're completely sealed. So in my mind, I think that is a huge bonus for lithium batteries. All right, and the fifth and final point I want to make on the lithium batteries would be the consistent performance of the battery. So you're going to have a stable discharge with the lithium batteries that you may not get on your lead acid battery. For instance, when your battery level is getting low on your 6-volt battery, you're going to notice that the lights are going to dim, and this might affect the performance of some of your appliances in the RV. So the lithium battery, as long as you've got power in that lithium battery, as long as you got some charge, you're going to be getting the same performance from beginning to end. So that's another huge advantage of the lithium batteries. All right, now that we've gone over some of the many positives of lithium batteries, there are a few cons that you may want to consider when looking at lithium batteries. The first of which is going to be your upfront cost of the battery. So when you're looking at lithium battery, they are pricey. You're looking for anywhere between $700 to $1,000 for a 100 amp hour battery, and this is quite a bit more expensive than your lead acid batteries. A lot of times it's about double the cost. So the one thing I would mention when it comes to this is you got to look at, we talked about the lifespan of the battery. So you're going to be replacing these lead acid batteries probably 3 or 4 times in typical lifespan of a lithium battery. So, you know, if you add up the cost of replacing the lead acid battery each time, you're probably looking at an equivalent or even more expensive total cost when it comes to the lead acid battery. So that would be the first thing I would want to consider. All right, the second potential con that you may want to consider when looking at lithium batteries would be compatibility issues. So, if you have an older RV or something, anything pre 2020 or so, you would want to check your converter and make sure that it is lithium compatible. Most RVs now are coming with converters that can be easily switched over to lithium. Now, this is very easy. There's lots of YouTube videos out there showing you how to check to make sure converter is lithium compatible. It's going to involve taking the plate off and making sure there's the little switch that you can switch over to lithium. And this is going to allow the system to charge the batteries properly and make sure everything is working as it should. So that would be the second potential con that you would want to take a look at. All right, the third con, and this is probably one of the most common ones that I hear, is temperature sensitivity. So there's a common misconception that lithium batteries will not perform in the cold. And sure, your performance will lag a little bit in the colder temperatures. However, lithium batteries as compared with lead acid will actually perform better when discharging in cold temperatures. The issue comes when it comes to charging the batteries. So lithium batteries will not charge if they're below freezing. Now, there's a couple things that you can do to mitigate this con, and that would be number one, having the unit or the battery, I should say, installed inside the motorhome, trailer, camper, somewhere where there's a heat source where you can bring the core temperature of the battery up to a level where it will safely be charged. The second option you can consider is a lot of these higher end lithium batteries will now have their own built-in heating system, which will heat the core temperature of the battery up to a level where it's safe to charge the battery before it actually starts charging. So those are two things to consider when it comes to the temperature sensitivity of the lithium batteries. Now, I was actually a little bit hesitant about putting this in the cons because, you know, there's some conflicting information out there, but there is a potential from what I've seen online that your alternator in your vehicle when trying to charge the lithium batteries may be compromised. I don't know if this has necessarily been proven. Maybe somebody in the comments that's more knowledgeable on trucks and things like that can kind of speak to this. In my opinion, this isn't a huge con because there would be ways around this. Now, I can speak from experience because I do have lithium batteries in my trailer, and this is something that did actually concern me a little bit. So from the research I've done, two things that you can do. You can make sure your batteries are fully charged before you leave on your trip, and this will allow you to, your alternator isn't going to be attempting to charge the batteries if they're at full capacity. So that's number one. Number two, when you're leaving to go home, most trailers now will have a battery disconnect switch. So I would switch that off so that they're not going to be trying to be charged while I'm driving on my way home. So that's two things to consider. Again, I'm not there's probably people that are more knowledgeable than me on this potential risk factor when it comes to lithium, but do your own research. Let me know again in the comments if you have some more information or if you are more knowledgeable than me on this potential con. All right, and the last con that I wanted to talk about is safety concerns. Now, this is a big thing because, you know what, lithium batteries, if they do catch on fire, this is a big problem. The fire can't be easily put out, and you're probably going to lose your entire RV if this happens. Now, there's two reasons that this typically would happen. One is an overcharge issue with the battery where the battery continues to be trying to be charged even when it's full. The other one would be improper installation of the battery. And there's two things that can easily be done to mitigate this risk. Get an accredited shop to install the batteries. That's number one. Don't try doing a DIY project if you do not know what you're doing. And then the second thing is don't buy the cheapest lithium battery that you can find on the market. Most of the higher end batteries, like I know we deal with Go Power here at our dealership. My trailer, personally, I have Lithium batteries, which have a really good reputation, and this is because they have a BMS system built in. And what BMS stands for is a battery management system. And what this is going to do is it's going to monitor the charging and discharging of the battery, and this will mitigate the risk of you overcharging the battery. It's going to stop the battery from being overcharged and potentially being a fire risk. All right, so that brings me to the end of my breakdown on lithium batteries. Let me know in the comments if you found this video helpful and was helpful in you making your decision on your next battery purchase. Also, drop a comment if there's something you feel I didn't touch on in this video, if there's some potential pros and cons that maybe I didn't go over. I'm more than happy to read those comments. And, we're always trying to educate ourselves here, working in the industry to try and give customers the most accurate information that we possibly can. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you again for the next RV Talk with JP. All right, have a good one.